Imagine this. We are not alone. Aliens have come to Earth and wreaked havoc, killing innocent people in the process. One of the aliens kills the other, and people suddenly praise this alien as a god and savior, forgetting the destruction and death he caused. You have seen what his power does to people. You've seen firsthand the lives he has broken thanks to his reckless destruction, and you have a chance to end things once and for all. You take that chance. So Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice is the starting point for creating an extended universe around the Man of Steel. As DC's quick fix to catch up with Marvel, Batman v Superman has been extremely anticipated, with the Man of Steel haters waiting to watch the DCEU, which is the DC Extended Universe, crash and burn, and the optimists hoping that it turns out spectacularly. Who was right? Well, no one really. For those who weren't giant fans of Man of Steel, this movie probably won't do anything for you, but it's made so well that you can't help but be entertained watching it. Yes, there are many flaws, and it is by no means a great movie, but there are so many things this movie does right that warrant both a viewing and a future for the DCEU. First, I'll talk about what I thought worked. Batfleck. It's awesome! This is a completely different version of Batman from any other we've seen on the big screen, and it is surprisingly refreshing. Ben Affleck does a remarkable job as both Bruce Wayne and Batman, lending charisma to Bruce as he lends brutality to the Bat. This is an older Batman than any we've seen before, having already spent a good 20 years fighting crime in Gotham, but it's also the most violent. There is wear and tear on this Bruce Wayne, and it shows not only through his finesse yet brutal fighting style, but also his agitated mental state. He tortures and punishes his way through the movie, and it suits the universe and character well. The only thing that bothered me about Batfleck was his policy, because I'm pretty sure he straight up murders some goons. Either way, his action sequences are breathtaking. Behind every Batman is an Alfred, and luckily Jeremy Irons is fantastic. While I can't decide whether I like Michael Caine's performance better, I can say they both suit their own versions of Batman perfectly. The Man of Steel semi-sequel was also something I thought was effective. I enjoyed Man of Steel, probably because my expectations were abysmal going into it, but I always wondered how the people of Metropolis were going to deal with the massive fallout. I enjoyed watching Clark struggle as he was forced to rethink his purpose on Earth, and I'm glad the filmmakers didn't sweep the destruction under the rug, as they instead used it as a question of political philosophy. I also like Henry Cavill as Superman, not just because he's a hunk of meat, which he is, but because he lends vulnerability that's believable for an alien trying to protect the world and be a part of it. But the script doesn't always lend him enough service where it should. The writers present many thoughtful questions about Superman, but simply ignore answering them, choosing to move right along to the next set piece rather than fully fleshing them out. The thing I liked most about the movie was the build-up. The first hour and 15 minutes were exciting and presented the interesting concepts that got me hooked. The imagery that Snyder plays with is beautiful and captivating to the eye, looking nearly identical to the pages of a comic. The filmmakers also did a good job of building a universe that feels like it has already existed, which is what it needed to do if Warner Brothers is looking into a Justice League movie for the future. Speaking of building an existing universe, Wonder Woman is awesome! Gal Gadot owns the role, proving the naysayers wrong, working with Batman and Superman surprisingly well. The best moments of the movie occur when the three heroes are all on screen and the Justice League theme is pumping in the background. Those moments give me hope for the future of the DCEU. The main problems with the movie is that all these awesome moments are lazily connected in a way that makes almost no thematic sense. I was constantly drawn out of the experience by the filler used only to set up other movies, and you can tell it was shoehorned in the last minute. Not only was it poorly placed and slowed down the pacing, but it wasn't even exciting. There were many moments where I was completely engrossed, only to have a scene shoved in my face that completely disconnected from what I actually cared about. And this doesn't just happen once. It occurs very noticeably and very often throughout the film, all the way to the excessively never-ending ending. Lord of the Rings 3, anyone? Some of the characters and characterization bugged me too. I liked Lois for half the movie, but at one point she just becomes pointless and does dumb things to help advance the plot. Use your brain, Lois. You're a Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter. Amy Adams does a fine enough job that the character's stupidity can be mostly overlooked, but Jesse Eisenberg does not. I give him props for trying to do something interesting with the character, but the writing for Lex Luthor is, simply put, horrible. There was one point where I literally facepalmed. because he said the single most stupid thing I have ever heard in a movie theater. While I'm talking about the writing, I should also address the issue with humor. The movie tries to be funny a few times, but nothing was. There were two people sitting behind me who were choking on their soda from laughter, but they were not funny jokes, and everyone else in the theater agreed with me. You know the awkward line at the end of Man of Steel when the girl is like, "I just think he's kind of hot." The humor in this makes that line look like Jim Gaffigan recited it. I don't know if those people behind me were baked out of their minds, but if Warner Brothers is going to make the DCEU dark and gritty, at least have the decency to stick with it, people. Finally, that brings me to the dumbest thing in the entire movie. Doomsday is stupid. Just stupid. He looks stupid and he is stupid. He shows up, they fight, basically does exactly what you saw in the trailer. The only thing he does is scream and evolve. He's basically like Pikachu if Pikachu were a steaming pile of poo. At the end of the day, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice is a fine movie. It has a lot of flaws and certainly could have been handled better in many cases, but it definitely could have been worse. The biggest problem was that every time I found myself enjoying the film, seconds later a filler scene or horrid writing would rip me away and make me cringe. I found myself enjoying the movie more than I thought I would, but only for so long. There are a lot of moving parts here, but many of them shouldn't have been moved this time around. All in all, it turns out to an incohesive, jumbled mess, but an entertaining one at that. I give Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice 12 red capes out of 21.
I'm as high as hell, and you're about to get shot. I'm as high as hell, and you're about to get shot. I'm as high as hell, and you're about to get shot. The police and the government touch my cock. I'm as high as hell, and you're about to get shot. I'm as high as hell, and you're about to get shot. I'm as high.